Padraig O'Hora, it's nice to be here in Croke Park.
Yeah, what's the crack? How are you keeping?
Not too bad, all is good. When you think of Croke Park, tell me a good memory, the first good memory that comes to mind when you think of Croke Park.
I suppose coming in, I didn't come to a whole pile of games, but the first time I played here, it was actually COVID, so there was nobody in here, which was, I wouldn't say it was a good memory, it was a weird memory. I remember just looking around, wondering what the hell is going on. It was empty, you know. And then I suppose we got Dublin here then in the semi-final. That was probably the most kind of elating moment I'd had in Croke Park anyway. It was, you know, it was really some just kind of magical buzz to it. Like it was you know, one of the moments in life where you feel something you kind of haven't felt before. It was unique in that regard. And then I suppose only a couple of weeks ago we won a National League final here too, which was great. So yeah, I had a few good days out in here.
And what was a not so great memory? Does any come to mind that stick out?
In Croke Park, the National League final kind of sticks out against Kerry, where we got well bet out the gate that day. But it wasn't. I don't know. It didn't hurt too much. The All Ireland final against Tyrone has to trump it. That was heartbreaking. That was, you know. Actually, yeah, that by a long shot, to be honest, thinking about it, was horrible.
Day.
Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah, it was horrible. It just broke your heart. Like, just you were not so sure, but you really felt like it was your time or whatever, and then it wasn't. 60, 70 minutes later, it wasn't. So yeah, that was hard.
With sport, there comes a lot of high moments, but often more low moments than the high moments, and that's probably the hard thing to be able to balance.
It's the price of it though, isn't it? Like, and that's the nature of growth and development. Like we always saying this to kids, even with Mayo Mental Health Association, we give a lot of talks in schools, and we're talking about developing resilience and exposure to loss and to failure, to embrace challenge, and that's the nature of it. So you are fully, you know, and like without them losses, would you know, the big win I talked about against Dublin, would it have been as important if we hadn't lost to them how many years in a row? Probably not. So like, I suppose both sides of that. Yeah,
you learn and you grow, and you probably felt Mayo as a team have learned and grown from those tough times.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And just talk to me a little bit about your social media. I often see that you do a lot for mental health, and it looks like you use your platform for a lot of good. It feels like you have this platform, but you feel like you'd like to use it to be beneficial and positive.
Yeah, I try to. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. Like, some weeks I just never want to do it again and delete it. Sometimes I make posts and dwell over them and delete them and put them up again and not. You know, I have a weird relationship with social media, to be honest. I find it quite challenging. But it's very beneficial for important topics, and I suppose inclusion and diversity through kind of SuperValu and my own roles is really important to me, as is a kind of I suppose mental health, because of my own personal experience, and again because of work. So I think it's really important, and it's a great platform to provide support like that and information. I think on the other end of it, the other side of it, is you have to be really careful, because there are a lot of people talking a lot of shit, you know, and like anybody can pick up the phone and say something, and I think you need to be really, really careful where you're digesting your information from too, especially in the realm of influencers and so on and so forth. Like, if you don't have, you know, you can't really be giving people advice if you're not qualified to do that. You know, if that's not your area of expertise, or if that's not your role, I think it's quite dangerous. And I know the interest of the people are probably, their heart is in the right place, but it can be dangerous to give people the wrong advice, you know, especially when they're in times of crisis. And I find that with the neurodivergent community too, you want to be very careful about how you try and support them and how you try and break down barriers, and that language is very important. And yeah, I'm very conscious of that through social media, to make sure that the message is correct and clear and that it's coming from the right place.
And when you mentioned that you work doing some of the talks with young people and that, do they ever talk about having problems on social media and the challenges they face?
Yeah, it's a part of it, certainly. I talk to them on resilience for Mayo Mental Health Association, and it's an important topic. One of the pieces I do cover wouldn't be social media directly, but it would be more about kind of self-awareness, I suppose, and, you know, your own values, and taking things for what they are, and not getting caught up in this cycle of not body shaming, but, you know, projecting other people's lives upon your own, and not, you know, focusing on your own story, because I think a lot of young people find that really, really difficult to do now. They're, you know, balancing their life against somebody else's, and not understanding why they're not the same, or why they don't look the same, and that's a really hard thing for a young person to do. I think I was fortunate enough to miss that boat. Like, I didn't care because I didn't know, you know, and so it's a difficult thing for us to understand and try and support them through. But yeah, we do the best we can in that regard.
That's great. And as an inter-county footballer, social media comes with it sometimes. Do you be on social media after a game? Do you look at what people say about your performance and that sort of thing?
No. I don't care, to be honest. It's just not. I don't think it's great for you. So maybe some people do, but like, if you're going to go and look at the good stuff, then you have to be willing to take the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have tough days, and I just find it easier to just not go near it at all. I've got like friends. If I have to drive home from Dublin, I've got 10 people I probably need to have a conversation with. There'll be teammates, there'll be friends, there'll be family. They'll tell me, you know, and that's where I'll take the information from, you know, and process that. That's enough. That's enough. And most of them people, you know, all of them people have you at the centre of what they think, you know, they're going to try and help you. So, like, my mates will tell me if I was poor, like, they'll tell you you're shite, you know, they will, and there's no harm in that. You can take that, but I don't need Joey 101 bloody writing something like I don't care, like, no. doesn't bear any relevance to me, like, and I've been subject to plenty of it there, and even when I put up any posts on Instagram or something, somebody will have something to say about it, you know, and I just don't reply. Just if I read it in passing, I just don't reply to it. I just don't care.
Yeah, don't waste your time on it.
No, because that's what we don't want kids doing that, like. And in fairness, this campaign, even about inclusion and diversity, what we're trying to promote inclusion and diversity, as in uniqueness, you know, difference. We're trying to celebrate that, not condemn it. And when you go to Twitter or you go to social media platforms, people are condemned and put down for being different. And like, the reality of it is, it's the different people that change the world. It's the different people that we're interested in and excited by, because they are, you know, they are the people that change the world. Whereas we're putting that down, people are constantly putting that down in young people, and like, that's not what we want. Like, the whole point of this campaign is literally inclusion and diversity. Let's celebrate it from every ethnicity, any of the LGBT community, any minorities, anything. Come on, like, the GAA is a family for all, like, and that's the whole reason we're here. That's why I'm kind of glad to be here, I suppose, and trying to promote this in any way possible. And
do you think enough is done across the country within GAA clubs to make sure to include everyone?
I think so. I think they're making their best effort. I'll give them their credit where it's due. Nobody's doing enough. You can't do enough. It changes. You know, it's dynamic. It's not like you tick the box and say we're done. Like, the GAA, in fairness to them, yeah, I think they're ahead. I think they're trying their best. Campaigns like this are fantastic, and SuperValu aren't just putting up a headline like people do. Again, going back to that mental health thing, when mental health day comes up, everybody and their mother and their sister and their dog will have up online, talk to somebody, or do you know what I mean? And it's you know, frilly and it's there, but like, it's just for what it does very little. SuperValu don't do that with this campaign. It's not community includes everybody. Okay, we said what we want. It's not that at all. There's physical changes being made. Do you know what I mean? We've ran GAA for all inclusion days. One in my own club. They're looking to sponsor and fund another one, or another couple around the country. They're all about actually making actual change. And in fairness to the GAA, they're the same. Like, they've only recently just passed a new policy called positive participation, and that's targeted towards positive participation for the LGBTQ plus community. So that's another step towards that. You know, they have the GAA All-Stars So I think they do. Yeah, they're definitely always on the lookout for ways they can make it as inclusive as possible.
Yeah, there's definitely positive change, that's for sure. And just to bring it back to the football then as well, how are things going with Mayo? Obviously you have a little bit of a break at the minute, losing to Roscommon. You've had about, I think it's about 5 weeks or so off of a break until your next game.
Yeah, we will. We'll either have 5 or 6, I think, depending on how it rolls. But it's possibly no harm. I don't know. It might be no harm. Do you know that? Like, it's what we have to do anyway. So like, we don't really get a choice. So I suppose you can be positive about it, or you can be pessimistic about it. I'd say we're fairly positive. We now have 5 or 6 weeks to get ready, like to play a match, instead of maybe having week in, week out games. So that I'd say it might play to our strengths. Hopefully we've got a good space now to just improve and like literally target the next game. So yeah, like, it's grand. I think we're in a good space. It's not the path we intended to go.
No.
It rarely is though, isn't it? Like we were talking about earlier, it's rarely the direction you expect to go, but you're just going to go with it. Like,
yeah, that's it. And playing Roscommon, obviously they're a brilliant team. They've always been thereabouts for years now, and going in against Mayo, they would have been the underdogs. Not many people would have thought that they would have bet you that day. Were you caught by surprise, or was it a tough physical game?
I think it was a tough, I think probably more the second part of that there. It was a tough game. They were ready to go, like, and the game went the way it went, not from lack of effort from either side. I don't think it didn't go our way that day. I've been on many teams that's happened to, whether you're the underdog or, you know, you're tipped to win. It just didn't really go our way, and they went well. Credit where credit's due. You know, they done what they set out to do, and they took a good victory off us. Like, and there's nothing more you can say about it. Like, more fair play to them really than anything. And let them. They obviously went out then against Galway, and Galway caught them. But it's going to be an interesting All-Ireland series. To have Galway, Mayo and Roscommon all in Division 1 competing at the highest level it says a lot for Connacht anyway, in the first place, you know.
Absolutely. And just looking at the game yesterday, what did you make of Roscommon and Galway? Did you get to see it?
No.
Do you watch much football?
No, I don't watch any football. I don't watch any football at all. No, I didn't. To be honest, I was busy enough. Like, I was busy on household and stuff. But it wouldn't have been my top of my to-do list, to be honest. But by all accounts, I've listened. Like, you'll hear bits and pieces. It sounded like a good tough battle. To be honest, it sounded like it was a good game of football, a good hard game of football, much like our own. And Galway came out on top. So again, credit to Galway in that regards, and they look at a Connacht final now. So they're going well, and look, Roscommon, I suppose, I don't know whether they obviously won't be too happy with it, because they would have felt like they probably could have beat Galway if they're not thinking that way, you know. But they're in the same boat as us and the other 10 teams that will be entering the round robins, bar the provincial champions. Every one of those teams will have lost a game. Yeah. So
a lot of games to come. It's jam-packed.
Yeah. So we're all in the same boat, bar 4 provincial champions, really.
Yeah.
To start the All-Ireland series, which starts in 4-5 weeks.
And for you personally then, just the role that you play, you're probably one of the best man markers in the game. Do you work on that side of the game? Is that where you like to pride yourself on?
I think I need to. I probably need to get back to it a bit more. You try to develop all facets of the game, because it's such a dynamic game now. You need to be kind of able to do everything, really, to some degree. But I'd have most of my focus definitely there, and I'd be hoping to haven't played much football this year. Through injury, I suppose, at the start of the year, and then just trying to push back into a really, really strong team now over the last few weeks. So my focus would be on making sure I do enough over the next couple of weeks to try and play that role, to try and get back into the position I was, and try and do what I can for this team.
David Clifford is here today. Obviously you and him have had many a good battle. That tight man marking job, you had on him a few times as well. Did you see him today? Do you chat or off the pitch?
Yeah, we do. I said it earlier, I think. Like, I'd like to dislike him, but I can't dislike him because he's a nice bloke. Like,
he's
you know, he is. He's a stand-up guy, and we're both here kind of sporting the same thing. We're wearing the same jersey today, essentially. So we both want to see more inclusion and diversity in GAA games, and we want to be role models for that, and we're happy to do so. I hope that we get to go at it again. I really do. He's an exceptional footballer, and I'm really hoping definitely this year and hopefully in the years to come that we go at it a few more times. But yeah, I think besides that, off the pitch, A1.
Brilliant. And just for Mayo and the hopes for the season ahead, obviously the league campaign extremely strong. Everybody was talking about Mayo, this is their year. All this talk started, and obviously the loss then to Roscommon, but look, who knows what can happen going forward. But for you within the camp, do you just talk about, I'm sure, next game, but is there a buzz that you're really growing here, something's happening?
Yeah, I think it was a good year in general so far. If we'd say, let's just say that's the first half of the year, it was really good. We ran out National League champions, which is not an easy thing to do.
No.
And we had a bump in the road or a hiccup or whatever you want to call it. Did not go to plan. Definitely not the route we want to go. But we are where we are now, and nothing has really changed bar, I suppose, the circumstances in which we need to go. We just need to focus on the next game, win that, and continue to do the same thing over and over again, really. In really simple terms.
Yeah.
And that's where the focus is. Yeah, it is literally on next few weeks, trying to get better, and then being ready to go on a personal side. It's about tomorrow night's training session, the gym session after that, the session on the weekend. How do I get to be the best I can be for Mayo? And that's what every other lad is trying to do too. It's so that when we face into that first round, we can all look at each other in the eyes and say, I've given everything I can to be the best I can be for Mayo. And Mayo comes first.
Yeah. And at the minute when you have so much time off, do you get to go back to your clubs, or is it still in with the county?
You stay. Yeah, we're with our county. We had a week off after the Roscommon game. Most lads went and seen a bit of sunshine, and they were dead right to. I did go back to my club amongst one or two others because we haven't played football.
Yeah.
There are more exceptions to the rule, kind of like, we haven't played much football, so it was like I missed a whole pre-season. So to go, I'm just going to take a week off, probably wouldn't have been the right idea. So I used that opportunity to get another week of training in and train with the club and stuff. So did one or two others. But yeah, the bulk of the team took the break, which they well deserved. They've been going hard now for a number of months, and then we've started back up and rolling there now.
Brilliant. So you're looking forward to the championship ahead? Can't wait.
Yeah, it's, you just want to play games, don't you? Like, you just sport, you train, but you just want to play. Just want to be back out behind us there at some stage.
It's looking nice.
It is. And on a full house, and that energy and buzz and excitement, and that's what you dream of. So hopefully,
that's
we'll
the
be
case.
at that crack.
Brilliant, Padraig. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.